This meeting is being recorded.
Good morning, everyone. It is Tuesday, February 20th at 9 a.m. We'll call the Wright County Board of Commissioners to order. We'll begin with the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, well, I'll go right at it here. We have first item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes from February 6th, 13th, and then the secondary revisers work group on February 13th. These minutes can be approved individually or collectively. Corrections?
Mr. Chair? Okay, I have two omissions that I'd like added under the workshop from 213. First one is under number 3, the Historical Society, to be added. Ketchmark proposed funding for operation of the 3 busiest days, which would be a reduction of the current appropriation amount. There was no support for this proposal, and I advise the minute taker of that if people are in agreement. The next one is under number 5, front desk, to be added. Ketchmark proposed moving the front desk position under the administration department. And that was sent to minute takers also. If nobody objects, I'll make a motion to approve the meeting minutes from all 3 meetings with the 2 proposed changes to the workshop.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Ketchmark.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Holland. Any discussion? Hearing none, I assume you have the amended minute notes there, Caitlin? All right. With that, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Minutes are approved unanimously. All right. Next would be today's agenda. Would anyone have anything to add to today's agenda? Hearing none, I'll stand for a motion.
I'll make that motion.
Motion by Commissioner Holland,
Second.
second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Agenda is approved unanimously. Next is the consent agenda. Would anyone like to pull anything from today's consent agenda for further discussion?
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Oh, thank you. One item, and it's claim number 108390 that I'd like to pull for further discussion, please. And I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda with that claim removed. And that, just for reference, that's green interiors for some plant maintenance on the property.
All right. With that, we have a motion by Commissioner Ketchmark to approve today's consent agenda, removing a claim item off the warrant list for further discussion. With that,
I'll second that.
all right, we have a motion by Commissioner Ketchmark, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. The consent agenda is approved minus the warrants item numbers that was said by Commissioner Ketchmark. At this time, is there somebody in finance to speak to the item?
Mr. Chair, could I speak to it first as to why I pulled it?
Absolutely.
Okay,
Yep.
thank you. So in reviewing the claims, I found the $200 bill paid to Green Interiors, and I inquired about the scope of work and the contract with this. And what I learned is that it's been a longstanding verbal agreement, and that in 2022, when we were going to be talking about the move from the old building to the new, the past board voted to move some of the live plants over here, and which would have been a reduced cost and stick with the same service. So what I found is that I didn't know how many plants we had around in the different buildings, but apparently it's about 5 plants in the front of this building, and that's it, that we're paying this service $200 a month for to water and whatever they need. And finance shared that we've paid the same service about $60,000 in the past several years. Now it's reduced to $200 a month, but with the verbal agreement. So finance has recognized that this should at the very least change to a written agreement if we continue it. But what I want to talk about is other proposed options. I talked to Alan. It seems like it could be within their realm to take care of these plants, and if they're not familiar with doing it, that they peek over the shoulder of the person when they're here the next time and see how much water and how often, and if we don't do the right thing and they pass away, they could be removed and artificial could be replaced or something else. So that's my foundation for the discussion today.
So if the plant passes away,
All right, plant gate, I'll call it, because of the way the agreement is set up and the cost.
Commissioner Catchmark, I appreciate you bringing this up for discussion. What I think we should do with it is just so we can get better information, have a deeper discussion with Alan as to whether they can and can't do it, and then at that point, decide whether we still as a board collectively want to have them or not. I'll do a pros and cons analysis on there, whether there is or not. At this point, I just say we can make it as a quick discussion coming up at next month at the workshop. It would be my suggestion. I want to make a special meeting for it, but I also don't know that right here off the cuff, if everybody wants to just make a quick decision on it. I mean,
Well, Mr. Chair, I don't know if there's a whole lot to, I don't know if there's a whole lot to discuss.
I don't,
guess
there isn't. I mean, if you, I just,
if other commissioners want to weigh in besides you and I think we maybe could clean this up here now. If someone thinks that they need more information, then pass it along. But can we just briefly maybe get some input from the other decision makers here?
And Chairman and Commissioners, a reminder that this one will have to be paid even after discussion.
fair enough. I'm just more like, I don't want to pay $200 a month either to water 5 or 10 plants. I just don't. I'm with you. It's just a matter of, do we want the plants or not? And if,
Well, does anybody else have any input?
plastic sounds good to me too.
so I guess we don't even have to refer to a workshop. We can just,
Mr. Chair, I mean, a lot of businesses do have live plants in their buildings for health reasons, environmental. It's just, it's not uncommon. I mean, this is obviously a discussion, so I'm not like anti-plant by any means. It's just, I'd rather this be coordinated, you know, with our staff to make that decision.
Mr. Chair, I don't think we need to be paying a service to have this in, and if, like you said, if they don't last and they're gone, it's only saving the taxpayers money. They make some really nice artificial ones now, and maybe it's less maintenance. I'd rather not move this to a workshop. I think it would be spending too much time on something that's...
I agree.
fair enough. I just want to put it out because if there was a discussion, if you guys want to make a quick decision, I'm all for that too. So I'm hearing the sentiment collectively here is that we don't want to pay somebody 25 or $20 or even $10 per plant to water them at that point. So
this claim will be paid, and then after that, Administrator Kelly will direct.
Cancel the
Yeah,
service.
won that contract.
all right.
Okay.
Thank you.
Mr. Chair, do I hear that Jeannie was gonna?
I can water the plants.
I guess we'll do a wait and see game to see how long they last and see how much love there is here across the county to care for them.
Well, Mr. Chair, I'd propose ending the contract then. Either way, we can figure it out within, whether we have the plants, whether we try and water them with staff and see how long they last. But I guess I'll make a motion that we end the contract with Green Solutions for plant care at Wright County.
All right, we have a motion by Commissioner Catchmark,
I'll second that.
second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
All right. Moving on to today's timed agenda, we have Mr. Matt Detchen here making his way to the podium. We have the first item there to review a repair request on Joint Ditch 14 pursuant to Minnesota Statute 103E.715.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. So repair petitions, nothing really new. I think the unique one about this is it's a repair petition on a joint ditch. Joint ditch is a ditch that goes into one or more counties. In this case, Joint Ditch 14 goes into Meeker and McLeod counties. We serve as the host county in this situation because the majority of the ditch is located within Wright County, but it still requires input and a joint drainage authority consisting of members of Wright, Meeker, and McLeod counties to hear this petition and to have a public hearing on the repair request. So just to meet our statutory obligations today, you are reviewing the petition repair under Minnesota Statute 103E 715. You're required to hear this repair petition within 10 days of it being filed. So obviously having boards every 2 weeks makes that difficult. So I wanted to get this on the schedule. The next item will be to work with the auditors of the other counties and to figure out which commissioner they will be appointing from each county to schedule that joint meeting. That first joint meeting will simply be to appoint the commissioners for that joint drainage authority and to schedule the date for the public hearing. Obviously, once we go on to public hearing, notices will be sent to all landowners, letting them know time and place and to provide feedback on the petition repair. So a couple steps that we normally don't have to do if it's just a standard county ditch that we have to with a joint ditch. So if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them.
Yes.
Is the redetermination already been done on this?
Yes, it was completed in 2017.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
So I understand there was a request made to repair, if everyone got a chance to look at the pictures, they kind of speak for themselves. The big voids, even though there's snow cover, you can see it. So is this 10 business days or calendar days?
I wouldn't know.
I'm just trying to, just for our window, if it's 10 calendar days, we got till March 1st. And I'll be on it because it requires the commissioner whose district it is. So then we need first 2 others to step up, and then we can pick the day on our part within 10 days, and then you'll relay to the other 2 counties?
Yeah.
Okay.
Make sure that works with those commissioners who, again, that their auditors will still have to figure out who they're appointing for that joint committee, and then try to verify time. So it's just a lot of coordinating.
Will this be done via Zoom as we've done in the past?
I think, and I'll verify with Greg, the initial meeting to plan the public hearing can be done, but the actual public hearing for the repair request has to be in person.
Mr.
That is
Chair,
correct, Mr. Chair.
Okay.
just a clarification, is it just the 3, one from each county of the county commissioners, or do you need additional 2 from Wright?
Oh, yeah. So since we're the host county, we will have 3 commissioners, and then there'll be 1 from each county. If it's a joint ditch with just 2 counties, then we as the host would still have 3. The other county would have 2 commissioners. But in this case, we have 3 total counties, so we need 1 from each.
Mr. Chair, I can volunteer for one of those positions.
Okay, we need one more, Mr. Chair.
All right. Is there anyone else interested on it?
I'm just worried about my schedule, Mr. Chair.
If it's by March 1st, I won't be able to go.
So it's within the next 2 weeks, you said? But that one will be a virtual one because that's a planning one. The actual in-person one will be.
Yeah, I think the last one we did, we had to schedule for like 8 in the morning to mess with everyone's schedules.
And Mr. Chair, this takes about a minute.
Yeah, I know. They're really quick. I've done them all. That's fine. I'll take the last spot on it, so.
So then, Mr. Chair, we could maybe propose like 3 days, and then you could get back, right, to the others?
Yep.
Absolutely.
So how about the 27th, 28th, or 29th at 8?
And, sorry, I'm just clicking the screens here. 27th, 28th, those are all at, what, like in the morning you said, or what time?
Right, 8, and that'd be wherever you're at.
Yep.
Do you have to publish where we are for that?
Mr. Chair, members of the board, you do have to publish where the public hearing will be scheduled.
No, not the
This is the
public,
planning
this
meetings.
preliminary to planning meeting,
Preliminary hearing, yes, we should notice where we're meeting.
for the virtual.
Someone needs to be in this room.
Well, I'll be back in my office. That qualifies, right? You just
Well,
have,
then you have to open it to the public.
that's fine. We do it for Zoom all the time. We send it to the,
Generally, the open meeting law requires someone in this room, right here. At least that's the way it worked with when we were
well,
out on
okay,
COVID.
all right, I can do that. So we in agreement for 8 on one of those 3 days?
8 a.m. Unfortunately, for myself, I will say I already have a meeting already on that 27th and 29th at 8. or before. So those mornings there, I couldn't do it that early. I
How
could do
late,
the-
how early could you do it?
I could do the 28th anytime after 8:30. The 27th, I wouldn't be able to do that one till after probably 10:30. And then the other one, I have probably not till after 10:30 on the 29th because unfortunately with meetings.
And then Commissioner
Mr.
Diedrich?
Mr. Chair, I have maybe just a little hiccup in there. I am actually called for jury duty, starting the 26th, 7th. And I call in, so it doesn't mean I will be gone, but I might.
You never.
So, it's just a little
we're really
hiccup in there.
striking out here.
So,
How about the 26th in the morning? 8?
I can do 8:30. Unfortunately, getting here by 8 o'clock that day is not going to be.
You could be from anywhere. I'm going
Mr.
to
Chair,
be here.
Commissioner Diedrich, you're not going to be reporting at 8:30 a.m. for court. Our judges don't take the bench until 9.
then 8:30 is fine, but it just,
It's a short meeting, so I can log in. I guess if you want to do it at 8 o'clock on the 26th, if I can log in from remotely wherever, as long as somebody has to be in this room, is that all? But if I don't have to be in this room, I can make it from a prior meeting.
Yeah, I think Mike already committed to being in the room, right?
Yeah, I'm fine. So do we just leave it at 8 on the 26th? And if it doesn't work, then we got to,
If that's the case, I can do 8 o'clock on the 27th then too. So,
okay. That's 2.
So you can get 2 of them. I can even make the 28th at 8 if I can be remotely, so I can get all 3 of those then. The only one I cannot, no matter what, because I would have to walk out of a meeting that I chair on the 29th, so it would.
Okay.
so at 8 a.m., either the 27th or 28th, is that what you said?
And 26th.
26th?
Yep. Okay. I'll make a motion then to have the staff try and set that up for 26, 27, 28 at 8 o'clock. And I'll be present here.
All right.
So,
So that gives them direction. I don't think we have to make any motions at this point. I think it is.
Yeah, again, I also have to, verify some with those other 2 commissioners. As long as we have a quorum to set that public hearing date, we should be good though.
All right. Perfect. Second item, permission to apply for a conservation partnership legacy grant program through Outdoor Heritage Fund.
Yeah, got quite a few grant applications, so just let me know if you guys have any questions or concerns.
It's a pretty local match at only 10% is the minimum. That's pretty local match. So
And can be in kind, so labor and.
it's, in my opinion, kind of a no-brainer. So entertaining a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Shane.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
hi.
Opposed, same sign. Grant application approved unanimously. Next, permission to apply for the water quality storage grant through the Board of Water and Soil Resources.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion to approve that grant.
All right.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Catchmark, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Grant application approved unanimously. The fourth item, to apply for the Cooperative Weed Management Grant through the Board of Water and Soil Resources.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
Question on that. Can this also work with Highway Department and right-of-way weed management?
Yeah, it could be reimbursed. You can reimburse residents, you can reimburse cities and townships for all activities for removal of noxious weeds.
But our Highway Department too?
Yes.
Okay.
We, as a Parks and Rec Department, have actually received funding back through this for some of the management we do in our parks.
Okay. I'll make a motion to approve applying for the weed management grant.
Second.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Catchmark, second by Commissioner Dietrich. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Grant application approved unanimously. The fifth one here is permission to apply for the noxious and invasive plant grant through the Minnesota Department of Agriculture.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland,
No second.
second by Commissioner Catchmark. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. grant application approved unanimously. I tell you, Matt, you've been busy, and I think you're going to be even busier if all these come through.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the fun, yeah.
Yes. Well, we greatly appreciate it. Looking for any outside sources of revenue to help take care of these issues. Permission to apply for the multi-drainage management grant through the Minnesota Board of Water and Soil Resources is the 6th item on there.
Just want to bring up, Tina, this is one that Rita discussed at length at CMC. Yeah.
Yes, definitely apply for this one. I'll make that motion.
All right.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, grant application approved unanimously.
Thank you.
All right. And now moving on to the second timed agenda item. Ross is making his way to the podium. We have to adopt a resolution related to a grant application through the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources Outdoor Grant Improvement to Montissippi Park.
Yeah, thank you, Commissioners. This grant is for $350,000. The funding for this the project's already in motion. The funding has already been approved, so this grant would just be in addition and would allow us to potentially put in port in place to make the playground totally, completely accessible, and then also add some additional amenities. So the grant, the match, and everything is already in place.
So you're putting in those, what is it, like that foam?
Port in place, it's called.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah,
Yeah, it's
that's-
kind of like a high dense foam. Yeah.
It's those are nice features in playgrounds, but man, I couldn't believe how expensive they are. They're
Yeah.
really expensive. How
Very
long do they
expensive.
last?
That's a good question. Probably between 15 to 20 years.
Right, because I say they're relatively new. I don't think we've seen a lot of them that have hit their end of life yet.
Correct.
So, all right. With that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right,
I'll
motion by
second that.
Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland, to approve the resolution for the grant application through the Minnesota Department of Natural Resources for outdoor recreation. And that is a resolution. Commissioner Catchmark.
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Next would be to approve 2 resolutions related to the active transportation grant application for the construction of segment B of the Crow River Regional Trail.
Similar to the last resolution, this one is just to go after the active transportation grant, which is about $1 million to complete segment B of the Crow River Regional Trail. The department, Brad especially, has already received funding up to about $719,000 from the Transportation Alternative Grant, and we're leveraging those funds as our match for this particular grant. And we have $550,000 set aside in the CIP for this grant, and so we're going to be looking to try to maneuver and do some preliminary design and engineering to get this project started.
Any questions on that? Otherwise, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
I'll second that.
All right, motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All right, resolution, Commissioner Shane?
Aye.
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 Resolution passes unanimously.
All right, thank you.
All right, now moving on to items for consideration. We have a few meetings to schedule. First one is to schedule a committee of the whole as a secondary follow-up to the Sheriff's Office Conference Room. This was briefly discussed, and staff is working on collecting some information prior to this meeting, looking for recommendations from administration on when that information will be available to hold this meeting.
Yes, Mr. Chair, given that we do need to post this and chatting with the sheriff, I would recommend we try and meet on the 27th, knowing there's other things, if we could look at either 10:30 or 11 on the 27th.
I'll be gone.
I will be too. I mean,
Is it are we in a hurry?
I guess it's not urgent by any stretch. I mean, we've got, it's sat out there.
That's true.
I think they've already articulated to Bradbury that
It was all.
it's that contract is, unless you wanted, I mean, at this point, I think the only thing that's hanging out there is that contract and whether we were going to try and execute that contract as is, or if we should just end that contract and then decide,
And
Mr. Chair, I thought it was expired anyway, wasn't that
It was
estimate?
expired.
See you in
It is,
November.
but there's some ambiguity as to whether they were going to ask whether they could honor that contract or not. Either way, you'd have a new one coming forward. So I think it's probably pretty much dead. So there is no urgency, in my opinion. So you want to move it to the following week? You're thinking like 4th, 5th, 6th? Is there going to be some openings at that point? If we go later in the week, like 6th, 7th?
Yeah, like 7th or something.
I'll try the 7th.
Get me a little bit longer time, just in case.
Commissioner Holland?
The 7th works.
7th?
10 o'clock or 9 or?
9?
I would
9
prefer to go later if possible, just so I can get through leadership team.
Okay. Do you want to go 9:30, 10? What do you think? How late is your
I have a
leader?
10 o'clock, so I can't do that.
All right.
9 works, though. Or noon.
That's the Historical Society thing, event.
Lunch. at noon.
Oh, I don't have that on my calendar.
I don't either. Where did you get that invite? On the 7th?
I'm special.
You are.
Where is it?
Oh, that was that, yeah.
Just at the Historical Society. Is it? Okay.
Yeah, that's at noon. So anything before noon.
Okay. So, otherwise you want to go the 8th in the morning or?
We can't do 9 on the 7th?
They have leadership, so all the department heads, they have their monthly leadership meeting. I mean,
And then what's with 10?
10:30. She has a meeting at 10.
Oh, yeah.
So
Would you be done by 11, Jeannie?
What, on
On the 7th?
the 7th?
I have a meeting at 11.
Yeah, I'm done around noon that day. But after,
The 5th? We have a board meeting on the 5th.
Want to go in the afternoon? We have a Ways and Means scheduled for 11 that day.
but then, yeah, then I'm free from noon
Just don't know if I'm
till,
gonna be here.
But otherwise, the remainder of the day, I believe, would work on the 5th.
1?
how about 1 on the 5th? Does that work for everybody?
Works for me.
That's fine.
I mean, if I'm not
1
here.
o'clock on the 5th.
Well, it depends on how you feel, if you want to weigh in on it. I mean, how strong of a feelings do you have on it, so.
Yeah, we can,
What about the 6th?
6th in the morning?
I'm wide open.
Yeah, I'm wide open on Wednesday the 6th.
Go back to the 8th, get it further.
We just got 11:30 ag tax review.
Yep.
Couple of us, but
You're going more for the 8th? That works better for you?
oh,
That's
That's fine,
Commissioner
too.
Shane.
8th in the morning?
I'm good.
How
9,
early? How early?
March?
8:39, 8, 9,
March
9:30, 10.
30 would be
I
good.
can't do on the 8th.
Oh, wait. No, I can't. The 8th, I have to be down in St. Paul.
Then we're just gonna go the 6th. We're gonna go the 6th, and we're gonna go at 9 a.m. on the 6th.
Okay,
All right, 9 a.m. on the 6th it is. We tried diligently hard.
yep,
All right, with that, I'll entertain a motion.
I'll make that motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Catchmark, second by Commissioner Holland, to set a committee of the whole to discuss construction projects in the Sheriff's Department at 9 a.m. on March 6th. All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously. All right. Next is to schedule a meeting to discuss legislative updates. So we are going into second week of the legislative session here. We have a lot of things that are moving fast and furious. I felt it's important that we get an update with the group, especially in light of the fact that there's some items that we want to weigh in on. One item that I wanted to get in front of the group was related to the next item on the agenda. It was the Department of Revenue regarding their proposal to change from a gross operating revenue taxing system versus that of the state assessed properties, which is largely similar but different of assessing based on value. So it's a big change. It's got a lot of moving parts to it. So at this legislative committee of the whole, we're going to go over that as well as some of the other items, as we have a variety of bills in there, and we also have a document that I've been working with Administrator Kelly. We want to walk everybody through that as well.
Mr. Chair,
Yes.
another item, just maybe to catch me up to speed. I was looking at the ag tax that was disseminated to townships, and we asked the legislators to look at how that tax was divvied up to townships, because it's supposed to be for road maintenance, for roads that are abused by hauling from gravel pits. But some of these gravel pits are not on township roads in the townships, but they're getting money to maintain a road that's not being used and abused.
You're talking about gravel tax, right?
Yes,
Okay.
ag tax, otherwise they, aggregate tax.
Oh, okay, yeah.
That's
yeah.
the more
Aggregate,
legal
yep.
name.
They-
But
yep.
do we have any update on where that went, or does that need to be revisited, or? I don't remember hearing anything from last year.
So we didn't propose anything on it. Having a lot of the conversations that I've had out there with it was something that we really need to get the townships, Minnesota Associations of Townships, to sponsor it first. We would be better off on a secondary route, because they can't even collectively agree amongst themselves, because those county or townships that have gravel pits don't want to share their money with those that don't. So if we weigh in on it, we're choosing a side. This is something that they have to sort out amongst themselves. We're really non-players in it.
Well, except that we write the check.
Well, we're just pass through money, because they don't, like, a lot of their township road assistance stuff all go through our highway department. That I can't articulate what was their methodology of that back in the day, but that's the way it is. We're just pass through money.
Oh, I understand that then, Mr. Chair. It's glaringly obvious when you know the townships that have gravel pits that are accessed off county roads, but they're given thousands of dollars to maintain township roads that are used to access these pits, but they don't exist. That's what I'm looking at. But has correspondence been sent to the townships that say, hey, we've heard concerns, but you folks should really take the reins on this? Did that ever get relayed, that we discussed and feel that it should be brought up by them? Just so that they're not looking and waiting for us to do something.
I will go back in time to we've had discussions about this a couple of times over the years at the township officers meeting. I guess we haven't given them, I would say, a do this, then this, a checklist of, if you want to make changes to this, here's the path forward. We haven't done that for them. We can certainly have some discussions, you and I, prior to the next township associations, if we want to give them some of that guidance. A lot of it, Ben, at this point was articulated to them, is that if you're interested in seeing changes with the aggregate tax and how it is dispersed, the ball's in your court on it. You guys need to collectively agree amongst yourselves as an organization how that should look with that. But because 50% of the counties, and well, I don't even know if it's 50%, but it's not every county has a gravel pit, and the ones that do don't want to share. So it's going to be a complicated discussion. So
That's a good point. I'll just bring it up at the next meeting, Mr. Chair, at township officers,
sure.
just for review and update. Okay, thank you.
All right. With that, let's look at the calendars here. I hate to wait too long, just because I'd like to get in front of everyone. There's a great document that I think I want to walk everybody through that Administrator Kelly's done a fantastic job on, and I think it's going to be a helpful tool for a lot of you in being able to follow some of these topics that we're working through in this session, as well as I want to get some updates to everybody sooner than later. I understand that some of you are gone next week, so
Could we Teams in for that?
I've asked legal.
No?
Easier not to.
Okay.
I mean, are we able to also pick that 6th day? Would that work, following the committee of the whole we just scheduled?
We can certainly do that. Sure. All right.
Close enough for your timeline, Mr. Chair?
It'll have to do, so we'll just work on the meantime with, that'll come to our next item, so I want to get some direction from the board on the next item so we can work on some stuff in the meantime, but All right.
What time on the 6th? We have a meeting.
So we have a committee of the whole. We'll just add this as a secondary item on that committee of the whole. So it'll be 2 items at the 9 a.m. March 6th committee of the whole.
Oh, okay. As long as we're done by 11:30 then.
Yeah, we should be.
Okay.
Chairman Vetch, Commissioner Dietrich had a good point, talking with Flaherty and Hood, maybe having a day at the Capitol, with Shane, just to kind of push forward some of these things that are select to our county.
We can certainly talk about that on that 6th. He's down there all the time, so if any of you want to go down there and meet ahead of time, he can help you make sure they find out which items are being heard, when and where. So you're more than welcome to do that.
Communicate that, though, Mr. Chair.
How do
we communicate that? Get a hold of them.
I don't have to be the point person, but because you're more than welcome to contact Shane if you have a particular bill of interest that you want to weigh in on, or you want to hear it more on a closer, or you want to work on setting up appointments to speak with individual legislators. You can certainly communicate with Shane, and he can help you navigate that to getting you the meeting appointments that you need, as well as giving you in line with possibly giving testimony or guiding you as to when things are being heard.
Do you get regular emails from him?
Him and I correspond probably at least every other day or during this
Do you
time of
want to
year.
pass some of them on, so we know what bills are like coming up, or?
So my correspondence, I'm certainly happy to pass them on with you. Mine are more on like in individual topics. They're not holistically. So there's like some of the ones that are that we have on that list. I don't track as close. Some of them Greg is following from the data practices side. So he has the correspondences on those ones, because he is working on helping craft the language. Some of the other ones are more specific to like HHS. They're having conversations with Shane. So it's more if you have an issue, a particular item on those legislative initiatives that you have interest on, and then he can keep you informed on those. So. All right. But by all means, you're always more than welcome to reach out to him and communicate if you have some an interest in weighing in on a particular topic. So with that, I suppose, do we need to make a motion, Administrator Kelly, to add that item to it?
I think that'd be good, and just for clarification, are we going to do that here, or do we want to go on site for the sheriff's conference room again?
I think at this point we can do it here.
Yeah, I think we've.
Just wanted to clarify so we can post
fair enough.
appropriately.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion to add the legislative committee of the whole. If was invite Shane to see if he can log in via Zoom to at least talk to us on what he knows.
Yeah, that'd be great.
All right. So with that, motion?
I'll make the motion.
All right, motion by Commissioner Holland.
Second.
Second by Commissioner Shane to add the legislative discussion on the March 6th, 9 a.m. Committee of the Whole. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, next one is looking to get the approval of the board to authorize a letter as well as comments to the Department of Revenue, as well as possibly PUC and possibly the legislative delegation, depending on how this route comes forward. This will be an item that we'll discuss in a little bit more details on March 6th. It's kind of a complicated change that the Department of Revenue is proposing regarding how state assessed properties are valued. So right now, state assessed properties are those of railroads, pipelines, utilities. There's a few other, power plants. Yep, there's a variety of other ones as well. But they're proposing and changing this methodology. Currently, they are assessed based on the value of the buildings as well as the personal property on the property itself. Now they're having a discussion about changing it and taxing them based on their gross revenue, and not based on the value of the properties. We have some great concerns about this because there is a lot of exemptions to this as well. So with doing this, they would be exempting from an energy perspective, solar and wind power that was generated would be exempt from that. Basically, that revenue would be taken out of that gross revenue. So essentially, any power line that's running electric or running solar or wind-powered energy through it would then not be paying any tax for those power lines. And so there's really now we would be losing an immense amount of value on just those, especially when you fact that you look at the makeup of the grid is looking like, in all actuality, by maybe 2028, 2030, and definitely by 2035, we could have maybe 60, 70, 80% of our grid made up of those sources of energy. And if they're exempt from the gross revenue tax, then essentially all those power lines throughout our county would be paying nothing. That's just one aspect of it. There's other aspects of it as well, and I want to get everybody informed about it and what some of our concerns are, so that we can articulate to the Department of Revenue as well as the legislator why this move has a lot of potential pitfalls.
Yeah.
So, but in the meantime, because the comment period closes on March 6th or March 9th, and I want to be able to work with, we're having a meeting tomorrow with Sherburne County, Becker, and Monticello on being able to get comments in sooner than later. I just want to at least get the approval of the board, at least in the short term, for us to be able to put some comments together. We will share those with you. But it's kind of, we want to stop it sooner than later, so we're taking a very active approach on it.
That sounds good.
All right. With that, I'll just stand for a motion to at least give staff the ability to direct us to be able to construct letters on behalf of the county board and to render comments on the Department of Revenue regarding our concerns on this proposed change.
So moved.
I'll second that.
Motion by Commissioner Dietrich, second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Motion passes unanimously. All right, now moving on to the county board workshop recommendations. We had a collection of 8 different recommendations. Does the board want me to go through them, or are any of the ones particular that want to be removed for further discussion?
Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve the recommendations from the workshop, except for number 3, the Historical Society.
All right. So we have a motion by Commissioner Catchmark to approve 1, 2, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 from the county board workshop. Do I have a second?
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Holland. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right. The recommendations are approved unanimously. The third item was the Historical Society Performance Measurement presentation. The discussion was a good presentation by the Historical Society. And the consensus of the board was to issue the 1/3 of the appropriated amount budgeted for the Historical Society for 2024. Commissioner Catchmark.
Well, I don't have anything.
You're just, okay. So
Someone else can make the motion.
Okay, so this was, you had stated earlier in your piece with the minutes, so I think.
Right.
Chair, I'll make a motion to approve the recommendation.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Dietrich,
I'll second that.
second by Commissioner Holland. I will state, they have done a fantastic job on leveraging their resources within the Historical Society and have brought much greater attention to the services that they have there. I think they're on a good path forward. I am very pleased at the short term. So with that, I give them a hats off. If there's no other comments, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign.
Aye.
All right. The Historical Society's recommendation of allocating their funds for the first third of the year is approved 4-1.
And Mr. Chair, I'd make a motion to approve and adopt the recommendations from the revisers work group from 213.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Catchmark.
I'll second that.
Second by Commissioner Holland. I will first off say thank you to the two of you on your diligence to review these proposed ordinance amendments, as well as I think sounds like there might be a good number of them that they have to be revised over the future here, so I appreciate you guys' due diligence to that.
And Mr. Chair, just for those that weren't there, Planning and Zoning and Administrator Matthijs was there, and we went through a list, and then we kind of prioritized, and we said this is higher priority or lower priority, and they came up with a list based on that concept. Thank you.
Well, at least you have a good at least you have a good
It's a good process.
and a good I guess staging for the months ahead to try and get through them all in the next 12 months. Because I don't think there's any way you could possibly try and do them all in a short period of time, and I think there's some of them that need to be done more urgently than others. I appreciate your on the large assembly and some of the proposed language changes there, walking through that. So I think that was well done.
Yeah, it should be communicated well.
And one of these things is you do this is a topic that will probably be changed a couple more times as we live and learn and more guidance comes our way. But this is the best we can do, at least in the short term with that. So, all right. So we had a motion, we had a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. All right, motion passes unanimously. All right, as we're coming to the end of the agenda, Commissioner Dietrich, you had a few words you wanted to say here at the end?
Yes, I would like to, I'd like to acknowledge the precious lives of the Burnsville police officers and Paul Elstrand and Matthew Rouge and the firefighter paramedic Adam Fenseth, taken by a murderous felon. My heart is broken for the families, friends, and coworkers grieving the loss of these heroes. I cannot fathom the extent of their pain, and I'm so sorry for their tragic loss. Now I call upon the people of Wright County and the great state of Minnesota to stand up to this lawlessness. When is enough enough? The policies of defund the police, bail reform, and open borders has created so much chaos and suffering for families, businesses, and communities. Victims are forgotten while criminals are repeatedly let loose within communities to continue to commit crimes. Wright County believes and is committed to public safety and the rule of law. Thousands of people have fled from the metro to Wright County in just a few ways for this better way of life. Let us stand together to be a beacon of hope and justice. The God I serve is full of grace, mercy, and love. So please join me in a moment of silence to remember those who have sacrificed for our safety and security.
Thank you, Commissioner Dietrich. That was a very, very great tribute. A terrible tragedy. With that, we will end today's county board meeting. If there's no other further items that need to come before the board, we will adjourn at 9:51.
This meeting is no longer being recorded.